One of my favorite pastimes when I'm bored is filling out personality tests, like the Myers-Briggs one, which has been trending for the past couple of years. It characterizes your personality into 4 letters. Mine is INTP, also known as the healer, who is extremely empathetic and deeply sensitive. The I also stands for introvert. And I know you're thinking, introvert, speaking at a TED Talk? But the truth is, I've always had a little fear of speaking because I was constantly afraid of being embarrassed. I dread small talk, the fear that I would be left scrambling to carry on a conversation, and paired with my lingering sense of imposter syndrome that I didn't belong in any room I stood in, made me believe that any conversation that wasn't with my friend would end in complete, utter disaster. But it's not just me. According to the National Institute of Health, 41 million Americans struggle with the chronic fear of embarrassment. And it's not just a statistic. It's a force that steers how we live our lives. It's why we don't wear the outfit that we want, apply to our dream job, or even ask out our crush. But why? The thing is, in the moment, we think that embarrassment defines us forever. I mean, I almost didn't even apply to speak here because I was afraid someone from school would come and start throwing tomatoes at me. But obviously, that's an exaggeration. But the thought of having someone come, criticizing every word I said and gesture I made was enough to deter me from applying. But you see here, the thing is, that's actually an illusion. According to a 2000 study done by Cornell University professor Thomas Skilovich, when people wore embarrassing shirts, 50% of them thought that others would notice. But in reality, only 25% of them did. We feel like we're in the spotlight, but no one's actually watching. We think that others are looking at what we say, but in reality, we're only assuming those small things. And see, we're living in a society that praises exactly those type of people. The people who are nonchalant, cold, and don't speak out. And all of a sudden, being chalant and outgoing is a derogatory term. But it's not just about being cool. According to certified mental performance consultant Sienna Sylvester, she found that those who avoid speaking out miss out on potential career advancements and also hinder not only their company, but also their personal goals. We're trading real opportunities for momentary safety. We're becoming our own barriers, not someone else, our own barriers to our own dreams and goals. And when we allow embarrassment to become the barrier that stops us from speaking out, we become the true inhibitor of change. All the real groundbreaking events in history, like civil rights, women's suffrage, and LGBTQIA, all happened because someone dared to speak. They didn't let the thought of cringe or what others might think of them silence their own views. And when we become complacent in silence, and strangled in the ideas of the thought of what other people might think of us, we're missing out on a life that could be. But if fear is so powerful, is the answer to just not feel embarrassed? No, it's to change our relationship with it. Oftentimes we think of embarrassment as simply just a moment. But the thing is, embarrassment is a natural emotion. And oftentimes, the first thing we feel when we're about to do something big. So don't dismiss it. Embrace it. Moreover, embarrassment can actually be a good thing. According to a 2011 study conducted by professors at the University of California, Berkeley, those who were embarrassed actually built more trust with other people. Moreover, according to a 2019 study conducted at the Northwestern University, those who shared embarrassing stories generated 26% more ideas than those who shared stories of pride. So instead of brushing off embarrassment as something that we shouldn't feel, we instead should embrace it as something that steers us. So here's hopefully an easy two-step plan to get over embarrassment. First, beforehand, and second, in the moment. When we're feeling embarrassed, oftentimes the first thing that we think is to reject it and to think about what other people might think or feel of us. But the truth is, in Bonnie Wire's book, The Top 10 Regrets of the Dying, the number one regret was, I wish I had lived a life true to myself, not what others expected of me. So take exactly that. Ask yourself the question, will I remember this potentially embarrassing moment in 5 years? Or will I remember what I didn't do? And so embrace the feeling of cringe, because everything that you could have ever wanted is simply on the other side of it. And to go make a fool out of yourself, because you will never be as young, as bright, as brilliant as you are right now. And to some of the older folks in the room, every time that you choose to stay in the bubble that others have constrained you to, it's choosing to live another day in conformity. Every year, my team's speech and debate team goes on a trip to Atlanta. And unfortunately, this year was the only time I didn't make it. And honestly, more than feeling upset, I felt a little bit embarrassed. I was embarrassed that I hadn't put enough effort or what others might think of me. But when I talked to my dad about it, he said that feeling embarrassed is okay, and acknowledging it is the first step. So here's hopefully a foolproof 3-step plan to get over embarrassment if you're already feeling it. First, own it. A little, well, that was awkward, can help diffuse the moment not only for yourself, but for others as well. Reflect. If it's something that you really care about, thinking about how you can improve next time and setting goals that you can do to achieve that. And finally, release it. Let it go. Because while everyone might notice in the moment, no one really remembers. And so stop replaying that tape over and over again, because you truly are your own harshest critic. But it's also on every one of us in this room to not judge those who have an idea that's a little odd. Judge those who are not afraid to speak out, and judge those who want to put in their 100%. Because as much as we try to not feel embarrassed, the truth is we always will sometimes. But if all of us are willing to reassure embarrassing moments and to embrace the unconventional, we can make every dream, every goal, and every step just a little bit not embarrassing. And some moments might actually be embarrassing. Like the time my phone started blasting the Succession theme in calc class. But the moral of the story is not to scroll on Instagram in class, or maybe it is, but it's to not let the fear or the judgment of others control how you live your lives. And while I am an introvert who is still a little afraid of speaking to the public, I'm standing before you today because maybe I didn't get over my fear of embarrassment, but I did start fearing a life that I could have lived more. And so when embarrassment starts whispering in your ear, telling you to be small, remember that everyone notices, but no one truly remembers, except for yourself, the person who was not afraid to try. Thank you.